Okay, everybody, we have reached the top of the hour, so let's get started with today's L10 webinar, How AI is Fixing Life Sciences Content Velocity Problem, presented by Powtoon. My name is Tim Sosby. I'm editorial director for L10. It's my pleasure to welcome you today and to serve as the host of our webinar. And I'm going to start that with a few housekeeping items for you here, and then we'll turn things over to our speaker. We are planning a 30-minute session for you today. Your phones are on mute, but we would love to hear from you throughout today's webinar. Any questions, any comment, please do share them with us. You can enter them into the public chat window or the private Q&A, whichever one you prefer. We'll keep an eye on both and try to get to your comments or questions throughout today's program. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand on the L10 website. I'm going to share an address with you for that on-demand recording later in today's program. I'm also going to send you a follow-up email tomorrow with a direct link to that recording. So through that email or through the L10 website today, you'll be able to access the recording, and certainly feel free to share with your colleagues. And speaking of sharing, as you leave today, a follow-up survey is going to appear in a separate browser window. We would love your feedback on today's webinar. When you leave today, please do look for that survey and quickly share your thoughts with us. And along those lines, there's an email address where you can reach out to us if you have any questions about your webinar or your L10 membership. Certainly don't hesitate to reach out, and I will share that email address later in today's program with you as well. All right, with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to our speaker today, Daniel Nathan. Daniel is the Chief Customer Officer for Powtoon, and I'm going to stop sharing, and Dan's going to take it away from here. Dan, thanks for joining us today.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Hi everybody, welcome, just make sure I'm not muted. Welcome and thank you for joining today. So yeah, I'm Daniel Nathan, Chief Customer Officer at Powtoon, also lead our customer success team. Powtoon essentially is the unified AI video platform for pharma. Now, at Powtoon, I lead our sort of global customer success, our enterprise growth and strategic partnerships across our largest accounts. And we work very closely with pharmaceutical and life science organizations in particular, helping life sciences, commercial and learning teams to be able to transform, I would say, complex scientific content into clear, engaging visual communication. And a big part of my work is really enabling global teams to scale knowledge transfer. So things like from mechanism of action education to product training to scientific communications and internal learning, right? All using AI-powered visual storytelling, which I'll go through with you today. And we integrate with highly regulated tech partners to adopt AI responsibly whilst maintaining scientific accuracy and compliance and governance. So we're already working with some of the world's leading pharmaceutical companies, as you can see on the screen there. So Eli Lilly, Pfizer, Boehringer Ingelheim, and many, many more. And we've recently seen a strong adoption, I would say, from life science teams in particular, using AI together with video to improve workflows, to improve or increase efficiency, let's say, and to create video content faster. And today I want to show you some of the incredible results those teams are seeing and how you can apply the same approach. Now, before I jump in, we're speaking about AI, I want to talk about something very important. So there's a lot of conversation, has been now for the last few years, regarding AI and about sort of, should we be, let's say, retrofitting AI into existing processes? And that's a really critical point. If you're just thinking of maybe bolting AI onto the way you already work, then you're only going to really get like a small fraction of its value. I think to really maximize the potential of AI, you have to change the way we work. And that's something that I keep coming back to. Okay, AI is only roughly 30% of the workflow. People and processes are the 70%. So AI isn't actually going to replace anyone. What it's going to do is it's going to enable democratization. It's going to allow you to democratize the way that you work, help you do more, help you do your work better, and enable everyone in your organization to contribute really in a way that they probably weren't able to do even 12 months ago, let's say. So where do I see this transforming life sciences? Well, it's really moving away from slow processes that are bogging down productivity in terms of video creation, right? Particularly around content for submitting it to things like Viva for approval and things like that. And teams describe going around the same wheel over and over again. It takes about 7 to 8 weeks, sometimes longer, to get video content produced by an external agency, right? And by that time, the science has probably changed, right? There's been an update, there's been new research already, and the whole cycle, the whole production cycle for video starts again. And it's not just time consuming, it's extremely expensive, right? And these problems are compounded here in these three sort of problems, let's say. So for example, it's slow. Early science, as you know, moves very fast, whereas agencies, external agencies, necessarily don't, right? Content is often outdated before it's even launched, right? Secondly, production costs, right? Production costs keep rising whilst budgets, I suppose, don't necessarily keep up, right? This is something that we hear constantly. Teams are paying easily between 80 to 100,000 US dollars to get probably a 2-minute video created. That is truly staggering, right? And thirdly, teams are completely dependent on third parties for content that they urgently need, video content. Now, with that video content created by those third parties, you can't own it. You don't own it. You can't update it. And I suppose you can't even reuse it without going back through that same production cycle. And AI changes all of that. It brings the cost down to almost nothing, right? And it brings, I suppose, production time from months to minutes. What I want to do here is look at 3 specific use cases in pharma life sciences where you're able to bring your own video production in-house. Okay, let's start first of all with field updates. Okay, imagine your team has gathered your conference and all those congress notes and insights. You've probably got a PowerPoint, a ton of documents with key takeaways in them. What you can do with that is you can drop those documents, drop those notes into Powtoon's anything to video engine, and within seconds you've got a ready to share field debrief video. Okay, so it's going to be about, let's say, 90% of the way complete, 90% complete, and then you add your brand guidelines, you tweak some text, maybe add a voiceover using 11 Labs, which we have integrated natively in Powtoon, and you're done. That's it. You take that document, you upload it into Powtoon's anything to video engine, and you're done. No video expertise required, no agency, no endless cycle. You can be responsive to your business needs and to your field teams. The second use case, if I can just move on here, is you're able to use it for scientific training. So let's say turning those densely populated SOPs, those standard operating procedure manuals or documents, into clear, engaging, global training. Okay, so more and more life sciences teams are starting to use avatars, for example, as you see on the screen here. They're starting to use avatars for training, right? And there's a good reason for that, because people relate to humans extremely well, more so than text on the screen, more so perhaps even than animation. There's actually a stat from Gartner that says peer-to-peer learners, right, which is people who learn from each other, from other humans, let's say, retain 70% more information and learn 60% faster than people who are just self-paced, people who are learning on their own. And avatars bring peer-to-peer dynamism or peer-to-peer scalable training as well. And in Powtoon, you can even create your own avatar. It could be yourself, it could be your head of medical affairs, whatever it might be. It can be your voice, it can be your colleague's voice, all with a touch of a button. And you can publish this content in up to 140 different languages in Powtoon to reach that global audience. That means that, let's say, a single piece of training content can now reach your entire global workforce, right? Localized and lifelike without having to start each piece of content from scratch. That's a huge, I would say, a huge time saver and a huge cost saver. And the third use case, and this is actually where I want to show you something in a second. We're working at Powtoon here with a partner who's told us it's taking about anywhere from 20 to 30 hours using text prompts, okay, with other AI engines to get scientifically accurate outcomes. So some of our partners have come to Powtoon who've been using AI tools already and generating video from like tech prompts to get, as I say, scientifically accurate mechanism of action content. Now that's just not scalable for them. So what we've done here inside Powtoon, believe it or not, is we've built a dedicated mechanism of action studio. Not the Powtoon studio, completely separate from that. A dedicated mechanism of action studio. And that's actually, for our partners, reduced content creation down from about 16 hours to roughly about 1 hour. That mechanism of action studio is now a core component of the platform for the life science teams that we're working with at Powtoon. Let me show you what's been produced with that mechanism of action studio.
Discover how tirzepatide is transforming diabetes treatment with its innovative precision and promising potential. To start, we will explore tirzepatide's key features. It's indicated for adults with type 2 diabetes to enhance glycemic control. It activates both GIP and GLP-1 receptors. Tirzepatide acts on brain, influencing appetite and metabolic signaling, as well as in the gastrointestinal tract and the pancreas, where it supports glucose-dependent insulin release. Building on this, let's delve into tirzepatide's binding mechanism. This molecule is based on the native GIP structure, but modified for better binding. It interacts differently with GIP and GLP-1 receptors. Now, explore tirzepatide's glucose control. It stimulates insulin secretion by receptors in the pancreas. It improves insulin sensitivity. It decreases food intake. It reduces blood glucagon concentration. Key aspects of dosing frequency include the timing to reach maximum plasma concentration. This is achieved within 8 to 72 hours, enabled by tirzepatide's design. The C20 fatty diacid extends the half-life to 5 days. Steady-state concentration is reached after a 2.5 milligram dose. Next, learn how tirzepatide metabolizes.
Okay, so we'll move on from there. So just to get a bit of context, to demonstrate this, we've used tirzepatide, right, which I believe is to help regulate blood sugar levels for diabetes, right? You guys, the attendees here will know that better than me. And everything we're showing you here is taken all from publicly available information, right? So, as I say, it's all been built with public information. It's not this is just a capabilities demonstration, if you like. It's not really a promotional asset. And of course, any output that you produce using Powtoon's Mechanism Action Studio can go through a compliance review process before use. Now, that is a mechanism of action video. You've probably seen many, many like it before. And if you compare that, what you've just seen, to content that's potentially been outsourced to agencies in the past, I think you'll be shocked at how easy and how fast it is to create something like this inside Powtoon's Mechanism of Action Studio. Just a little question to ask yourself. If you compare that to, as I say, the content that you produced externally, how long do you think it would have taken if you wouldn't know that was in Powtoon or that was created in our Mechanism of Action Studio? Do you think it would have been, $25,000 cost over 16 weeks, or $40,000 over 10 weeks, or $85,000 over 6 weeks? The answer is that video was produced in less than 1 hour by one of our partners, one of our clients, just using a Powtoon license, a Powtoon subscription. That's it. Less than 1 hour to create something like that using Powtoon. I'm laughing because it's just crazy. The concept of paying so much money to go external and being able to do something like that in 1 hour inside Powtoon. And that you own that content. That content is yours. You can revise it. You can edit it. It's very, very simple to do. Let me put this into perspective. As I said, $80,000 to $100,000 to contract that piece of content to an external agency. That's how much it would cost you, traditionally speaking. Approximately taking 2 to 3 months. And with Powtoon, you can do that within an hour. 2 to 3 hours if you've got a few people you want to collaborate with as well, to maybe get some cross-team collaboration done in-house. The strategic win is incredible. Within a few hours, a life sciences or a medical affairs team can create a mechanism of action video in-house, okay? Now, that can be translated for a global audience in no time at all. This isn't a marginal improvement. It's a fundamentally different way of working and communicating. And it alludes to what I said at the beginning about not necessarily just adding AI into your existing workflow. It's about embracing AI to change the way you work, to be more efficient. Okay, and that is incredible. Let me show you how we actually built that video using our MOA studio, our Mechanism of Action Studio. I'll just play a little video for you now. It's a short one. This gives you a brief intro into our Mechanism of Action Studio.
For mechanism of action visualization, Powtoon created a new feature called MOA Studio. It allows you to use any materials you already have to create a scientifically accurate video. MOA Studio automatically creates a storyboard and visual prompts for you. You can then edit every detail to make sure the visuals are precise and the animation is accurate.
So that's it. You know, the animations you saw in the terzepatide video were created in Powtoon using our Mechanism of Action Studio. So we didn't need to use any external resources or any creative agencies or designers. That's how we did it. Now, it's worth saying that the shift to in-house AI for video content is already happening. It's live. And what we're seeing with our partners and our clients is that teams who are adopting these modern AI-powered workflows, they're moving faster, they're reacting faster to industry changes, compliance changes, scientific changes, they're reacting faster to it. They're reducing costs and they're bringing sort of that ownership of their own content back into house. So as I mentioned earlier, AI is democratizing, I suppose, who gets to tell the story. You guys. You and your teams are able to build this content in-house and how quickly they can adapt it. So, you know, all of a sudden, every person on a life science team or a medical affairs team can now contribute to that video content creation and communication in a way that just, you know, wasn't possible 12 months ago, wasn't even possible 6 months ago. You can bring back in-house what you're currently outsourcing, so you can democratize the way that your team works, right? You can speed up submissions, you can make updates fluid, no more backlogs, no more waiting for weeks and weeks to update one single video. It's about giving your teams the tools that they need to do their best work faster and more independently than ever before. Now, one of the things before I get there, one of the things I'd like to know is if you'd like to know more about our Mechanism of Action Studio, you'd like to talk to us more, just let us know. I think there's going to be a little poll that's going to pop up on the screen now. If it's something that you think could be of interest to you, there you go. The mechanism, learning more about our Mechanism of Action Studio, then just raise your hand or just answer that survey, and we'll be able to get back to you. Alternatively, I have a QR code here on the screen as well. If you simply want to just book time in with me or one of my colleagues to talk about the Mechanism of Action Studio and how it can help your teams become more efficient and, of course, reduce costs on lengthy and expensive outsourced videos, then just scan that QR code and book some time in with us, and we'd love to speak. Now, I appreciate we still got a few minutes left. So I'm going to take a sideward step here and share with you something even more groundbreaking than what you've just seen. I'm going to stop my screen share for a second because I need to switch to another screen, and now I'm going to re-enable my screen share. Just bear with me 1 second. Here we go. Away from video creation for a second, I want to share something that we've been working on here in Powtoon. If I can just move that poll. Inside, we've been working on this in our Powtoon labs. It's currently in beta. And I'd love to show you very, very briefly. What we've built is a live avatar platform for you to use. I'm going to create for you before your eyes a live avatar that can be used for training. You as an organization can use it for training. You can build it and deploy this avatar online within minutes. And this avatar, for example, could be integrated with your entire knowledge base to help train people. There could be a number of use cases. You could have new colleagues joining your life science division, your organization. They may want to get up to speed on what you've been doing or about a particular client or a prospect, whatever it might be. You can now create these interactive avatars using Powtoon. It's very, very simple. We start as a trainer. We're going to click a new session. This is live, by the way. We're going to call this very quickly Life Sciences 101. Let's just say, for the purpose of time, you've got colleagues joining your life sciences division. They need to learn about life sciences, okay? Rather than just read through textbooks and manuals, how about have them interact with an avatar? This is a great new way of training, a great new way of working. It doesn't have to just be for training. It can be for communication with medical professionals, with your clients, whoever it might be. You can have the avatar just explain things to them. You can have the avatar test the viewer's skill and knowledge on questions. You can have them ask your viewer certain questions, or you can have the avatar just speak content, okay? You can also you can give that avatar a knowledge base. So the avatar can react it can dip into learning language models, so your GPTs, your Geminis, and your Copilots and such, and just get information from there. You can also upload standard operating procedures. You can upload all your knowledge base into this avatar. Okay. For the purpose of time, we're just going to move forward down here. We are going to create, let's say, we're going to use this as a session to teach, let's say, new employees into your life science organization. Here we go. So we're going to call it Life Sciences, just 101 for the purpose of time. We're going to create an avatar who's going to say, open up their first sentence, welcome to Life Sciences, Life Sciences 101. What would you like to know? Okay. Like to know. There we go. And you can also, instead of having an avatar, you can also have a voice only interaction. So for example, if your viewers or your colleagues are mobile and they don't necessarily have a screen to be able to look at, they could just interact directly with voice, which is incredible. We're going to choose, let's say our avatar here is Judy Doctor Standing. I'm going to click create session. It's asking me to review it. I can build and activate both my avatar as well as, just if I want, just have the voice element only, as in no avatar on the screen. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this link for this avatar and I'm going to load it here into the browser. It's going to take about 10 seconds to generate. I'm not going to talk during that period because it might confuse the generation. Give me a second. We're going to use a nice, warm, friendly tone. You can use multiple languages for your global audience here as well. We're going to start that session. Let's give it a second.
Welcome to Life Sciences 101. What would you like to know?
Hi, I'd like to know, what does life sciences actually mean?
The knowledge base then.
Okay, so that one, bear with me 1 second. Let's go back to my colleague here. We'll bring up one that we used a little bit earlier, that we created a little bit earlier. Bear with me a second there. So we're going to go to one that I created a little sooner. Let's go to, here we go, this one here. Let's click on Life Sciences 101 and let's rebuild that avatar. And we'll copy that link and we'll replace it with this one here. Let's start this one. And here we go.
Welcome to Life Sciences 101. What would you like to learn?
Can you tell me what life sciences actually means? Okay, I got a problem with this one. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, as I said at the beginning, by the way, guys, this is in beta. So looks like we have a couple of little bits and pieces wrong with that one. Let me go to this 1 second. Okay, let's go to knowledge base. Here we go. So you're an expert in pharmaceutical. Here we go. So we're going to choose this one we created earlier, pharmaceutical sales training. Let's pretend that we are a sales associate, account executive at your organization, selling pharmaceuticals, for example. We've created this earlier where you're an expert pharmaceutical salesperson, knowledgeable in GPL1 medicines and specifically Mounjaro. Okay, so we're talking here about Mounjaro, by the way, is a brand name for tirzepatide. You probably know that already. So let's just copy that avatar. Let's pop this one in here. This is always the risk when you're doing things live, I suppose. As I say, it's in beta.
Welcome to our pharmaceutical sales training. I'm excited to guide you through everything you need to know about GPL1 medicines and how to effectively present Mounjaro to your clients. Let's get started on building your expertise and confidence.
Can you tell me, what is Mounjaro? Okay, I think I realize what the issue is. Here we go, guys. I do apologize. I realize what the issue is. It's my microphone. There we go. So, hi, can you tell me, what is Mounjaro?
Mounjaro, generic name, tirzepatide, is a medication that is used for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. It is a GLP-1 receptor agonist, which means it mimics the action of the glucagon-like peptide-1 hormone that helps regulate blood sugar levels. Mounjaro is unique because it also has GIP, gastric inhibitory polypeptide, receptor agonist activity, making it a dual.
So there we go, come off that one. Guys, I apologise. The issue was that my microphone just reset. It wasn't being picked up by the avatar. So there we go. That's good. And we'll just go back to let's say life sciences again. We'll try this one. And,
just make sure that the knowledge base is connected.
Yes. Well, there's no files uploaded into this one. So let's go.
You have to give the instructions, like
Yeah.
to the knowledge base as a prompt.
Yeah. So let's get one that's got a prompt in it. So there you go. So as I say, you can, let's say, medical affairs sales training. We can go into this one here. Looks like we've got a knowledge base here. We can see there's a knowledge base set up. Okay, let's copy this one and go into here. So it's great with regards to knowledge base. Yeah, you can upload all your own content as well. So you can use API to get deep into your information system and upload all the information you need into this avatar.
Thank you for inviting me to this meeting.
Hello, how can you help me?
Could you clarify what you were?
Oh, here we go. So again, I apologize. As it's loading, I'm talking. It picks up my voice. It needs a moment to refresh. Let me just refresh that a second.
Thank you for inviting me to this meeting. You wanted to talk to me about something with video for pharma?
Yes, I'd like to know how can we use video to help explain complicated scientific changes?
Video can simplify complex information, but how do you ensure that your visuals maintain scientific rigor and comply with regulatory standards?
There we go. So I'm going to come out of this one now. So there you go. So as I say, this is something, a sneak peek that we've got in beta at the moment. It's going to, we believe, revolutionize the way that training is done, the way that communication internally and with your health professionals is done as well. Being able to create very easily those avatars, have them representative of yourself, your clients, your brand, and be able to liaise directly with the viewer, learn from the knowledge base that you can add into the avatar, and create those, as it says here, those really immersive training sessions with your live avatar. So that's something that we're very, very excited about. As I mentioned before, we're also happy to give you a more in-depth demo into this as well. I'm going to just switch over back to my other slides here. If I just go back in here, we go. So if you are interested, and if I just bring my other slides up, there we go. So if you, as I said before, if you're interested to talk to us about our Mechanism of Action Studio, or even our upcoming live avatar release that we're making, feel free, to answer the poll. I'm not sure if it's still up, but also to scan that QR code, and away we go. We do have a couple of minutes left, I do believe, for some questions. So I'm just going to go into our Q&A. Let's have a look. We've got a number of questions here. We've got Margaret saying, how do we revise the content? Margaret's asking, how do we revise the content that's produced by I assume by our Mechanism of Action Studio? So on the video I showed you, and I'll go back to it for a second, Margaret, just so you can see again. And I will just going to disable the audio so I can talk over it. So this is a quick demo, as I showed you before, a video of our Mechanism of Action Studio. So the idea is, once you produce this video, you have complete autonomy to go back into it. As you can see here, I appreciate I'm streaming here, it might be a little bit blurred. You can go back into the studio time and time again and revise the content through text-based editing, So if you've got issues with maybe the color here of the germs and you need to move it a little bit faster, or the color, you simply use text-based editing in these boxes here to change that video. And it's using AI tools such as Google VO3 to generate that video. It's really as simple as that. That's quite a very simple, novel way to be able to revise content in there. You have, how can I say this, autonomy over every aspect of the content. That's the beauty about being able to bring it in-house rather than use external agencies. You have complete revision and autonomy how can I say this, permissions over every aspect of the video using things like text-based editing as well. You can even go into, we don't have the example here, but you can even go into sort of like frame-by-frame editing if you want to do that as well. But essentially, with no time at all, you can change content and update content as much as you need. And Margaret's also asking about graphs, tables, and medical animation. Absolutely, you're able to do that. So again, at the start, and maybe Margaret, if you want to click on that QR code, I'll bring it up in a second, and maybe book some time with us, we can show you how. But you're able to have our Mechanism of Action Studio build those graphs, tables, and even animations like this. You can see whether it's characters, whether it's enzymes, whatever it might be. You have complete control over that. So our Mechanism of Action Studio can take care of all that for you. So I think on that note, I think we've come to the end of this session, if I believe right. John, if you're there. Okay. So, okay, so he's not there, but yep, fine, great. So I'll leave that QR code up for you there, guys. So again, if you're interested in speaking to us about our Mechanism of Action Studio or looking a bit more in detail at our upcoming live avatar platform, live avatar capabilities, we'd be very, very happy to speak to you. Myself and my colleagues are looking forward to catching up with you soon. So I will say on that note, thank you so much for attending. Any questions? As I say, I think you've answered the poll. I've got some emails coming through already from you, so looking forward very much to catching up with you soon. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And until next time, I will say goodbye. So handing over to Tim, if he's there.
I am Dan. Thank you very much. Great presentation. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you all for joining us today. Just as we're closing out, I wanted to end with a couple of invitations. First of all, we would love to have you get more involved with L10. You can volunteer, write an article for our Focus magazine. Lots of ways to get involved. You can reach out to me or any L10 staff member, and we'd love to help you get started. And finally, I'm going to invite you to look at our upcoming webinars. We had a couple of webinars coming up later next month. You can check out if you'd like to, register and find out more information about. You can also find our on-demand recording, including today's webinar, at l-10.org/webinars. Today's recording should be up within the hour or so, and so feel free to look for that. And again, I'll send you a follow-up email tomorrow with a direct link to that recording as well. For now, let me send some final thank yous to our speaker today, Daniel Nathan, to our sponsors, Powtoon, and to all of you for your time, attention, and participation. Everybody have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.